And I can start soon. All righty. Hi, everyone. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to my session about preparing students for jobs that don't exist yet. And I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nikki Wallace. I'm an educator from Memphis, Tennessee. I teach currently at Crosstown High as a biology and environmental science teacher. I also am the science chair and DEI advisor for our school here at Crosstown High. And I'm so excited to be here to talk with you all today about STEM and STEM education and how important it is for our students. So I guess we're about to begin now. Go ahead and start with the slideshow. All right, so mission and cultures in our school systems. We engage in meaningful and engage learning. We create trusting and caring relationships with our students. We advocate for our students' voice and to give them choice. We are very big about community partnerships, which you'll see later in the presentation. This is vital to the work of doing project-based learning. And then also being smart with the use of time, space, and technology. So I'd invite you at some point in the future to check out XQ. They have an entire design toolkit that you can access. Within this design toolkit, you can visualize how to reshape and rethink not only just your classroom, but your school culture as a whole. And there's a ton of information, a ton of resources on there, and I'd invite you to take a moment later on this evening to check it out. And so Crosstown High is a school in Memphis, Tennessee, and we are part of the XQ network of schools. And I would like to share with you, when we talked about design principles, a space and place matters. And so I want to share with you a video that shows like what our school is like, our design, our unique model, and just to give you maybe an awareness of thinking about how to maybe change your space into something different and innovative. Okay. Right, it's the beginning, right? Okay. Okay. All right, hi everybody. Hopefully you can hear me this time. But my name is Nikki Wallace, and I'm an educator in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a former researcher as well. I've been teaching for the past 11 years, and I'm super passionate about innovation, technology, and research. And I'm really eager to help give our students the tools necessary to survive in an uncertain world. And so I'd like you to think about this statistic right here. 1.4 million US jobs will be disrupted by the time current high school students enter the workforce in 2026. And I know if I were you, and I know when I saw this, I was like, wow, what can I do as an educator to ensure that our students are successful in this world? And it's, students need to be able to think about, being agile and more adapt to new jobs and new careers that are going to be presented out there for them. And to that end, representation matters for our students. All of our students deserve to be successful in the future economy of the U.S. And still today, according to the Pew Research Center, that Black and Hispanic workers still remain underrepresented in STEM workforce. So we need to really lean into definitely ensuring that all of our students have access to these fields. And also women still remain underrepresented in math, physical science, and engineering, and computer science. So we definitely need to encourage all of our students to think about how they can see themselves in these future jobs in STEM. So what will work look like in the future? And according to the Work Economic Forum, workforce is going to be more about self-sufficiency, mass movement, robot replacement, empowered entrepreneurs. Skill flows will be more of the processes that will be needed, and agile adapters. So one of the things as a high school and as a high school teacher, we think about what will we do to prepare our students to be successful in this uncertain world. And so what we've done here at the school I'm at Crosstown High in Memphis, Tennessee, we've set up a set of competencies that we feel would embody for a successful high school graduate. And these competencies are lead one's learning. Students need to be able to set a task and complete a task and learn new information. They need to be able to collaborate on teams. They need to be able to consume critically. That's not only through text, but also through media. They need to be able to sustain wellness, lead inquiry, and design solutions. So this is what we envision that our students, when they come out of high school, they need to have these critical skills to be successful in the future. Crosstown High here in Memphis, Tennessee is also one of the XQ schools. And XQ is an organization who's leaning into this idea of reshaping and rethinking what high school is about, and school and education in general. And they have about 6 design principles when they think about what it is that will make a school do that to achieve their mission. And the first one is a strong mission and culture. The second is meaningful, engaged learning, along with caring, trusting relationships. Relationships matter to our students, especially we're going to pull in those students that are generally marginalized in those STEM fields. Youth voice and choice are paramount to our students being engaged in this work. And community partnerships are essential, especially in the STEM fields. And I will share with you some examples later on about some partnerships that I've been able to participate in. And then a smart use of time, space, and technology. And at some point, I would invite you all to think about visiting XQ's website. They have a design toolkit, and what that toolkit does is helps you think about how you can reshape your classroom and even your school culture and as a whole to lean into this work of innovation and designing what the future may be like. So I'm going to share with you a video about Crosstown because we have fully adopted this idea about what does it mean? What does education look like? How can we redesign our future? So I'm going to show you how we've changed the idea of what place looks like here at Crosstown High. So I'm going to share this video.
Like winter freezes just like ice, and there's a cold and lonely light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste of love in a simple way, and if you need to know while I'm still standing, you just fade away. Don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever been. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, so Crosstown High is a part of a vertical village. It is a remake and remodel of the old Sears building here in Memphis, Tennessee. And inside of Crosstown, there's a concourse. We are a part of this larger concourse. And inside the concourse, there's a YMCA, there's a church health center, there's an optometrist, restaurants, a pharmacy, an air gas facility as well. And we're just this huge community here at our school that our students are able to use in creating meaningful relationships. There's also residents here as well. And so our students are put in a position where they're immersed in this wraparound of different opportunities. There's even a radio station here as well. So it's just a rich place and space here that we use to allow for our students to experience real world issues and be able to solve for real world problems as well. And so oftentimes doing this work can feel like, as an educator, that you have to take a risk. And we have standards we're expected to cover. We have tests that we're expected to for our students to demonstrate mastery of knowledge that we've delivered. And so I want to invite you to take a moment right now. I'm going to play another video for you, which demonstrates, some of the rewards of changing the norm of the traditional educational system. So this video is about 4 minutes long, and I'm gonna play this because I really think it's very powerful in delivering that message of being that risk taker as an educator.
are the pioneer class of Crosstown High School.
Come on, Daddy, pick it up. Pick it up, pick it up.
Y'all messing with where I come from. It's like pencil, paper, lecture. And coming to Crosstown is completely different.
You need to develop a deep understanding. That might be through research. That might be through your own pondering of your own self. Everyone can write an expository essay.
There's room for all kinds of projects. Have another student who's making a dome that they're going to put on Mars, and they have ants. Ants are going to be the people.
I want to see an integration of that content knowledge, those key concepts and terms that we've learned about, into your writing.
You can't come in here thinking, I'm gonna just take notes and listen to the teacher. You can be your best teacher.
I had a student tell me the other day that going to Crosstown doesn't feel like going to school. But you know what the interesting thing was is she was like upset about that.
Students oftentimes are still thinking in traditional models and modes of thinking. You really got to think about this differently.
We're doing PBL, project-based learning. The way it's set up is that you don't really know that you're learning. So it's like tricking you into learning. A lot of people don't like that.
I just feel like they're giving me busy work. Like, where's the content in this? What am I doing?
They're so used to the idea that learning stuff means memorizing. What they don't realize is that that's not really learning.
They want that ache of actually like feeling that they're learning, a little pulse in their head. People are claiming that they aren't learning anything.
They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna throw you into the deep end. No, they're throwing us more into like a hurricane, you know?
They're throwing me into the ocean. I can't swim at all.
This is Titanic Part 2, you know? My life.
I can barely stand in a kiddie pool. We're just talking about
we're all going to have to go grade behind because we didn't learn enough. We'll have emotional intelligence. No actual intelligence, but emotional intelligence.
I can't solve an equation, but I can tell you how I feel in 3 different types of poem. I can give you a haiku, a sonnet with iambic pentameter, and Shakespearean rhymes. Here we go. Everybody, quiet. Shh. All right, what we're about to do, because I've had like 1,000 complaints, like I've learned nothing this quarter. So that's how you feel. I'm going to show you how that is not true. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass out an EOC test. It's this big old test that you have to take at the end of the year. I've heard these grumblings and rumblings of like, we haven't learned anything. I'm trying to show them that we actually did cover these standards that are required by the state. All right. Take one, pass around. All right, hey, no more talking. Now you're gonna use your reasoning skills to answer this test.
She's like, because y'all think y'all not learning anything, have this test. And it's like a standardized state test that she gave us.
I get this test and I take it and I'm just like answering the stuff subconsciously. Like I'm not even realizing that I'm having no problem answering these questions.
We did it and I was like, wow, it was super easy. And I finished it with no problem.
I didn't think I was learning anything. I take this test and I'm like killing it. I think I got used to teachers giving me the information that I need to know in order to succeed on tests. At Crosstown, you have to become comfortable in being uncomfortable. It's something different every day.
All right, thank you for taking a moment and watching that. And so I love at the end, Haley, she says you have to be uncomfortable in being uncomfortable. And the whole idea of failing forward is something that comes to my mind. And, you know, kids, it's a hard shift for a lot of our students. Once they get to you as a high school student, and I teach high school, the kids have this traditional mindset and they've excelled in this traditional world. And then it can be very difficult to like break that mold when they get to high school. So, thank you for taking a moment to look at that. But it's hard, but project-based learning is necessary if we're going to design the future. So, another mantra that I have as far as an educator is contextual teaching. And here's a quote that I really love. It says, social constructivist teaching is based on the belief that learning occurs as Learners are actively involved in a process of meaning and knowledge construction rather than passively receiving information. Learners are the makers of meaning and knowledge. And so if we lean into the idea that our students are active learners and that they are able to see the world around them and make meaning of that, we need to definitely ensure that our curriculum that we're delivering to our students has meaning to them in a contextual setting, and it is important to them and how they see the world as well. And so to me, a tool for that process is design thinking. And I think this is the tool of innovation. I invite you to take a moment later on, possibly in the evening, to look up the IDEO and the IDEO website and their design kit, because it is definitely a tool that leads to better understanding how students can be designers. And I have another quote from the K-12 lab, and they state that, if we're going to truly embrace an anti-racist teaching, we have to do this. We need to embrace design thinking work. And they say learning with and from people helps designers being the students, set aside their own assumptions about the world in order to gain insight into their users and their needs. And when they do this act of thinking about a user and then starting to prototype and coming up with new solutions, and it just changes the whole concept where they're more of an active learner. And if we put this in the frame and context of the type of curriculum or the actual course that we're trying to teach, students are becoming empowered within that context of that new information that they're gaining. So definitely a tool that I would recommend everyone to learn how to use and incorporate into their classroom. This is another video that I'd like to share with you where we talk about, how problem-based learning meets diverse by design. The two worlds have to marry. If we're going to disrupt the narrative that minorities and students of color are underrepresented, and we're going to also disrupt the narrative that women don't enter the STEM forces, we have to think about how can we put together PBL learning and having these diverse students and meeting all of their needs. So I'm going to play this short clip for you about another effort that we have here at Crosstown High.
If you look at the trajectory of human history, nothing that was worthwhile came with an easy struggle. I mean, think about what we're up against, right? We're up against years of systematic inequality. We're up against years of systemic racism. We're up against years of students being passed through a system as just, another number and, not having themselves heard. In a project-based setting, we're trying to work against that typical. I'm going to call the first group. We're going to head outside. We're going to set up our launching station, and we will take it from there. Pretty easy, right? But then we're going to look at this circle right here. And I want to know what the diameter.
It's organized chaos, which I feel like is important for people to know, is that the students aren't coming in with oh, here's this major project, do this thing. It's well thought out. Each week we know what we're covering, when we're covering it. But it's messy in terms of we give them the tools.
We're going to talk about everything you wrote about.
I used to live downtown, but I moved about 2 or 3 years ago.
When you have students from different backgrounds coming together and working on a lot of the same things, you have the exchange of ideas, you have the exchange of thought patterns, you have the exchange of thought processes. And so it's kind of like this inner exchange.
What's the key thing we need to know about refugees? So when we hear the word refugee, what's specific to that?
Just because a teacher says it doesn't necessarily make it the law or the absolute truth. And so we're starting to build this environment where if I say something that you think is incorrect or that I need to elaborate on, like question it. Like you should always be questioning. You should always be wondering why something's happening. Like never settle for what someone tells you. Find the truth yourself.
So that was the main reason why we came here.
That social aspect, I think, is just as important as the educational aspect and as the skill aspect. 3, 2, 1.
Whose was that?
So it's really just bridging that gap, answering that age-old question of when will I use this?
I just saw the comment. I'm so sorry. You know what? I think it is the way I shared the screen. So I'll fix that right now. I think it's because I said share on. I'll just do my entire screen. Is this better? Okay, well, we'll move on. We will move on. I can put the video in the chat too. Okay, so I'm gonna I'll just type the video in the chat if that's okay. Did everyone get that? Okay, can I move on? Okay, all right, sorry about that. Oh, did it pop up now? Oops. Sorry, okay, there it goes. I'm sorry about that, my fault. Here, I'll go ahead and play it then. This is there, okay.
If you look at the trajectory of human history, nothing that was worthwhile came with an easy struggle. I mean, think about what we're up against, right? We're up against years of systematic inequality. We're up against years of systemic racism. We're up against years of students being passed through a system as just, another number and, not having themselves heard. In a project-based setting, we're trying to work against that typical. I'm gonna call the first group. We're gonna head outside. We're gonna set up our launching station and we'll take it from there. Pretty easy, right? But then we're gonna look at this circle right here. And I wanna know what the diameter.
It's organized chaos, which I feel like is important for people to know, is that like the students aren't coming in with like, oh, here's this major project, like do this thing. Like it's well thought out, like each week we know what we're covering when we're covering it. But it's messy in terms of like, we give them the tools.
We're gonna talk about everything you wrote about. I used to live downtown, but I moved about like 2 or 3 years ago.
When you have students from different backgrounds coming together and working on a lot of the same things, you have the exchange of ideas, you have the exchange of thought patterns, you have the exchange of thought processes. And so it's kind of like this inner exchange.
What's the key thing we need to know about refugees? So when we hear the word refugee, what's specific to that? Just because a teacher says it doesn't necessarily make it like the law or the absolute truth. And so we're starting to build this environment where if I say something that you think is incorrect or that I need to elaborate on, like question it. Like you should always be questioning. You should always be wondering why something's happening. Like never settle for what someone tells you. Find the truth yourself.
So that was the main reason why we came here.
That social aspect, I think, is just as important as the educational aspect and as the skill aspect. 3, 2, 1.
Whose was that?
So it's really just bridging that gap. It's answering that age-old question of when will I use this in real life? This is how you'll use this in real life, because project-based learning is giving that real-world application to it in the classroom.
All right, I'm gonna pause there. And I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna share my screen back to the other tab. Okay. All right, so as you can see, we're trying to engage students in project-based learning. It's messy, it can often seem unorganized, but it's engaging to the students. So here we go. So as a biology teacher, one of the things that I lean into is this idea of like, how can I create biology in a new frame? And one of the cool tools that is hot right now in science, in biology, is this idea of synthetic biology. And synthetic biology is when you are actually manipulating something from a biological standpoint, changing DNA and having organisms do things that they weren't intended to do. And another innovation tool in BioSTEM is biomimicry. And so biomimicry is this idea that you're able to look at nature as, I would say, nature has taken millions of years to adapt to our lived environment. And nature is the original technology tool of innovation, right? And so if we sit back, take a moment and look at nature and ask some questions, we can actually design and come up with some new technologies that would actually benefit benefit humanity, deal with some of the issues and problems that we have every day. So I really lean into these two worlds of synthetic biology and biomimicry. And then I marry that to this idea of design thinking. So I get our students asking questions, thinking about how they can create and design new tools of innovation from the frame of looking at organisms, understanding DNA and how you can change them around, and looking for new technologies from a natural standpoint, from the natural world. And so I love this quote that Bill Gates had, and I think it's definitely fitting for this. He says, if he were a teenager today, he'd be hacking biology, creating artificial life with DNA synthesis, the equivalent of machine language programming. If you want to change the world in some big way, that's where you should start, biological molecules. So I know the emphasis has been leaning into coding, but biology is the ultimate coder. So if we think about the DNA molecule as the ones and zeros, right, in the code, then you can maybe rethink and think about how we can create new technologies and bring a lot more meaning to the science that we're trying to deliver to our students. So they solve problems by applying engineering principles to life sciences. And so a place I would encourage you all to take a look at is this organization called BioBuilder. And BioBuilder takes synthetic biology, it takes that idea of programming, and then this idea of engineering. And there's a ton of activities on their site where there's hands-on lessons where you might design a bacterium that normally stinks to smell like bananas, or you might create a biosensor that changes color in the presence of some reaction. So there's just a ton of different lessons and activities on their site that's meaningful and engaging to students, and getting them thinking about how can we really change the world. And then another site I invite everyone to look at is called asknature.org. Asknature.org is like my go-to tool, is my encyclopedia of ideas. Check it out. It is like mind-blowing. I think they've done a wonderful job with this site. It's like a portal to the wisdom that nature holds. And take a moment and look through that site. There's just so much information on there. And Janine Benyus says, when we ask nature, first we quiet our human cleverness, then we ask, then we listen. The answer is the echo that bounces off the land herself, and the solution in hand, we always end in the circle by saying thank you. And so just taking a moment to step back. And I know, and a lot of us live in urban environments, it's always go, 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 go. But if we just take a moment and look at nature and see the beauty and the wisdom she holds, it's a beautiful thing. And there's a lot of learning and discovery that you can find there. And so now I'm going to share a few projects that I've done here at Crosstown High. Some of them were referenced in the videos that were played, but one of them was designing the journey to an inhabitable Mars. And so we spent a semester working in that, where students made rockets. They designed ways to make closed systems to support life as it travels through outer space to Mars. And so that was our project there. And another project that I've done at Crosstown High that is truly interdisciplinary is working with planners with the Design Collaborative at the University of Memphis. And so we lean into this idea, like, what's really happening in our local context as far as the built environment, doing some condition analysis. And here in Memphis, we have this area called Cypress Creek. And Cypress Creek is an area that is like this conundrum of all these problems in one area, and people are living on top of these problems. The water is contaminated. The creek has been channelized. The fish, you can't eat it. Like, there's just tons of issues. The soil has been contaminated. So what do you do? How can we help people that live in that area, which incidentally has high cancer rates and other health issues? People just don't know what's happening. So I had our students come in and work with the planners at the University of Memphis, who are architects, who are urban planners and designers, and just rethink, how could we redesign that area and make it not as toxic to people that live there or unhealthy. So that was a project we did actually this year. Another project that I've endeavored in for biology is looking at the Wolf River and how that supports our aquifer, which is where Memphis gets all of its drinking water from. And so water is important. Water is everywhere in the Mid-South where I live, and water is important to I know where you live. So like, it's definitely a project spend that you can use to deliver, meaningful contextual lessons and ask some meaningful questions about how can we protect our water. So definitely a project idea that can be applicable across the state of Tennessee. In that bin, as a biology teacher, I had students think about, like, how can we use synthetic biology to ensure that we are able to meet our water needs. And so unfortunately here in Memphis, Tennessee, we have like a coal ash pond sitting right above our drinking water, and there's cracks in it. And they found out there are some metals and heavy metals at the bottom, and arsenic being one of them. And so what I had the kids think about, like, if there was an earthquake, if there was an event to happen, or if the aquifer was damaged in some type of capacity and contaminated, what could we do? So I had students think about some ways possibly to mitigate that. And one of the ideas was glow in the dark arsenic eating bacteria. So why not program bacteria to glow so we know it's there if arsenic's present, and why not have students figure out ways to metabolize it so it's no longer an issue. So that was a project idea that actually was presented for the BioBuilder Club that we are a part of here. And then another project that we did this year was developing a water filtration system with bamboo that detects air toxins. So thought that was pretty neat. It was like a kombucha style fermenter at the bottom where it's actually making alcohol for fuel, and then there's also a filtration system at the top. So that was a project and that the students presented this year. Another one that's applicable across the board is, what's in my backyard? How can we ensure and create and develop sustainable ways of living for our students? I had students go out and use the iNaturalist app and really go see what's out there and really design ways to ensure that we clean up our area and that we ensure that generations to come can live in a clean and healthy environment. Okay, I'm not going to play that. All right, so lastly, I'm going to leave you with this idea of like citizen science. I cannot implore you guys enough to lean into to citizen science. There are a couple of sites. SciStarter and Zooniverse are two wonderful databases of projects that you can pull into your classroom. And then check out the iNaturalist app. eBird was another wonderful app from the Cornell labs where you can actually listen to bird sounds, look at nesting materials, and it will help you determine what bird is present. So it's a really cool app using AI technology. And then lean into this idea of, competing. So I biomimicry challenge is a contest that my students participate in, and it's something that gets them thinking outside the box, and then they get to compete with others, and they learn from other students across the world. So it's a really cool competition. Backyard Brains is another resource, and I'll just leave you with a few resources if you've never read them. There's actually a course on edx.org called Becoming a More Equitable Educator. My school actually has been going through this entire year during this COVID year. But inside of there, they talk a lot about culturally responsive teaching in the brain. Zaretta Harmon wrote, and Rich Milner is also one of the instructors for the course, where start where you are, but don't stay there. Understanding diversity, opportunity gaps, and teaching in today's classroom. Those are two other texts that I'd invite you all to read. And if you're not a reader, I don't have time, the Teach Lab podcast, awesome tool, awesome resource, wealth of knowledge to get you thinking about how can I rethink and how can I support the diverse students that I teach every day. So I think this PowerPoint is it's shared somewhere in there, but you guys all these links are embedded, and I have some other sites for you all to use as well. And these are my kids. I want to play that. So I will end with high school for the recording arts. This environmental science teacher did a wonderful job producing. I don't even know if you're going to be able to hear this but I guess I'll just stop here. But High School for the Recording Arts created a whole album called Get Your Green, and they go through cleaning up, going green, saving our environment, music is my nature. There's a ton of songs on there that you maybe can spark some of your students into thinking about how they can recreate and rethink how we're going to do science education. So really cool tool that I use often in my classroom. So from there, thank you all for your attention. Are there any questions? All right, I'm trying to see where the questions would be if there are. Oh, an externship. Yes, and that is something that Crosstown High has done and will do. And so if you're interested, you can email our school. You can just Google Crosstown High. I know that we have tours often with people coming through our school and our environment from around the world. It's been an interesting and wonderful experience for the past 3 going on 4 years now. So definitely we do tours here at the school if you want to come and check it out. Anything else? I can't see anything else. Okay. Okay, so do you want me to keep talking? All right, well, thank you all for your time and your attention, and hopefully this will inspire you to think, be that creative risk taker and to attempt to do PBL and lean into the idea of designing for the future, because our students deserve it. So thank you all, and you all have a great rest of your day, and check out the other conference sessions, and I will see you in there as well.